You can record a related expense in AMSWin in the Other Business Transactions section. To record an expense in AMSWin, choose the Other Business menu and then select New Other Business Transaction. When the Other Business Transactions screen appears, you'll notice that today's date is already recorded in the date box. You'll want to give a description of the expense you're recording. In this case, I'm going to choose fuel. Next, you'll select a vendor from which you purchased the item. A running list of vendors you've used will be recorded in the drop-down box below. Because I've never entered another business transaction in this database, you'll notice that unassigned is the only option in the drop-down list. So I will type Shell in the vendor name field. When I hit the Tab key to move to the next field, I will receive a message that states, "Do you want to add Shell to your list of vendor codes?" I'll choose Yes. Next, you have to select a record type. Is this a receipt or a disbursement? Because this is an expense, I'll choose disbursement. Next, I'll enter the amount of the expense. In this case, I spent $24. Optionally, I can include the tax that was charged on that expense. I'll look at the receipt and then record $1.89. Next, I'll record the method of payment. When I purchased this fuel, I used a credit card. Because I purchased this fuel to go to a trade show, this will be a deductible expense. Therefore, I will check the deductible box. Finally, I need to select the appropriate account code for this transaction. AMSWin provides a list of common account codes. In this case, I want to select the fuel account code. These accounts are listed in the drop-down box in alphabetical order, and I notice that fuel is not an option. So I will type the word fuel in the account code box. When I hit the Tab key to change to the next field, there'll be a message that states, "Do you want to add fuel to your list of account codes?" I'll say yes. When I've finished adding my expense, I'll click the Apply button. If I want to edit this expense at any time, I can simply click on a field and make my edit. If I decide that I don't want to save that change, I can click the Restore button to restore the previous value. But if I like the change that I've made, I simply click Apply to save it. From this point, I can always add a new transaction from this location by clicking the Add button. Now, in this example, I paid for a personal meal from my business account, and I need to reimburse my business account in another business transaction. So for the description field, I'll add reimbursement for personal meal. In the vendor name box, I'll choose Our Place Restaurant. When I hit the Tab key, a message will display that says, "Do you want to add Our Place Restaurant to your list of vendor codes?" I'll choose Yes. Now you'll notice that Our Place Restaurant is an option in the drop-down list. This is a record type of receipt. The amount was $30, and the tax I paid on that meal was $2.74. The method of payment was with credit card. and this meal was not tax deductible. Now I need to choose an account to associate to this transaction. I could choose either entertainment or I could choose meals. I'll choose meals. Because this is a receipt, I'm making the assumption that originally this meal transaction was entered into my other business transactions form under the meals account. So really what I'm doing is crediting the meals account with $30. Next, I'll click Apply to save. Now that I have two other business transactions in my database, I can navigate between the two by clicking the previous and the next buttons. If I have several transactions, I may want to click the lookup button to search for a specific transaction. I can look up by the date of the transaction, one of the words in the description, or I can look up by part of the vendor name. I can look up by the word hour for Our Place. When I click look up, you'll notice that Our Place restaurant is displayed. When I've finished with my other business transactions, I can click the close button to leave. If I'm at the main AMSWin screen and I want to look up my other business transactions, I can simply click on the Other Business Transactions menu and then choose Other Business Transactions.